All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and I'm actually happy to be in my studio today. And I will give a quick update on my health at the end of this video for those who are interested. We had a couple people being jerks about me mentioning at the beginning of my videos they think I'm doing it for sympathy or for clicks, when I don't think they understand how YouTube actually works, because all of my videos are put up as DC updates, whether they have an update about my health or not. But we have a lot to talk about today. First of all, we have more information about Superman, which I'm going to talk about first before I show any of the screen grabs that I've had, that I've grabbed for you guys since the last video. And we've got lots of stuff to show you today. And my last actual photo is going to be a post that I did on X that I had a lot of people up in arms. And we're going to talk about the toxicity of Superman, just the memes that are being posted. Just Superman is not in a good spot right now. And we're also learning that there really is no DCU. And we're going to talk about that today as well. Also, I have to talk about James Gunn doing World's Finest. I think I talked about this in a previous video, but I am convinced that he is working on the World's Finest, and that is his next project after Superman. That's the one that he's writing and is going to direct. But let's talk about Superman first, because there were some reports that came out a few weeks ago about terrible screenings for Superman, and James Gunn talked about how he had to do reshoots, and it's a learning process, and he had to take those things into account, and they had to retool the movie. And then you had Jeff Snyder coming out, and you had a lot of Gunn people who don't usually like Jeff Snyder or feed into his stuff, all of a sudden post how Jeff Snyder had said that now the movie is really good. And Jeff Snyder actually had to come out in an interview and say it's funny how they took only part of that quote and didn't show the rest of it, because apparently it's still terrible. And a lot of people think it's still terrible. And it's not getting good ratings from the test audiences. And this is why they're kind of quiet right now. And there is a new trailer that is supposed to drop during this event they're going to in about a month. And that James Gunn is currently working on that trailer. But they have to show something. This movie comes out, it's not that long from now. It's just in 4 months. And we really haven't seen anything about this movie. And it's going to be the summer of Superman, but they haven't started that. They really need to start the promotion on this if they want to get people excited, because the general audience right now doesn't even know that there's a Superman movie even coming. And we're 4 months away from it. And I have yet, in all the movies that I've gone to see, I have yet to see the trailer even be played once. And so they're not in a good spot. And it's the fact that there are reports of the movie being terrible. It's concerning, and I think the reason we're not getting any more DCU announcements, and we're going to talk about that in the video today too, is because of this. I think Zaslav is kind of pulling back on the reins here, and is really not going to allow them to move forward with any type of a plan until they see what's going to happen with Superman, which is probably the smart move, because I really don't think Superman is going to do all that well. So let's get started and look at some of the screen grabs that I've had since my last update. So first up, Lantern. There's going to be a lot of stuff about lanterns in here. It all dropped shortly after I did my last video, and I was waiting for more stuff to come out. Figured I needed to get a video out today because there's plenty to go over. But it says, Lantern showrunner Chris Mundy says other Green Lantern characters will show up or be name-checked in the series. Now, there's still a question on whether or not Lanterns is part of the DCU. They're saying it is, and I had heard that they were going to have Guy Gardner in it, but now they're saying he's not going to be in it. And that originally, James Gunn even said in his reveal of the original slate that this is going to kick off the big storyline for the DCU, and now they're saying it's not connected to the overall DCU storyline at all. Now, they said they have a 6-year plan to get to some Justice League, but I honestly think things are changing, and that the reason James Gunn might be writing A World's Finest is because they're realizing they need to focus on their main strong characters, which is the smart thing to do than all these weird projects. Now, Green Lantern, the Lantern show, as long as it's part of the DCU, is good. This was the only really other project that I was interested in from that whole entire slate. More stuff about Lanterns. It says James Hawes, Slow Horses, will direct the first 2 episodes of Lanterns. The following are also set to direct the HBO series. You got Stephen Williams, who's done Watchmen and Lost. You got Geeta Vasant Patel, House of Dragon, and Alec Sakharov from Ozark, and Ozark was amazing. So was Lost. All these people should do a good job. It looks like they're taking the direction seriously in this. Whether we see them in their suits or not is a whole different story. I think I have a screen grab of something somebody mentioned, but I don't really ever think we're going to see them in their suits. So this made me laugh. It looks like they're just trading Disney and Marvel, moving everybody from there over to DC. Seasoned marketing veteran Ricky Strauss has been tapped to consult for DC Studios on Superman. It is Strauss's first project since leaving his post at Apple TV Plus, head of marketing last year, having previously worked for Disney on several Star Wars, Marvel, and animated projects. So it looks like we're just getting the people who have been discarded and bringing them over here. James Gunn comes from there as well as a lot of the costume designers and everything for the people who worked on Guardians of the Galaxy. So it looks like they're just taking Marvel talent and bringing them over to the DCU. Now, I laughed when I read this because this is actually who Sinestro is, and to have it be anything else would be weird. Vanity Fair described Ulrich Thompson Sinestro in Lanterns, a dishonest and ruthless lantern. I would hope so. That's the character. Oh, here we go. This is the big post in regards to Lanterns that leaves you just scratching your head. It says Lanterns will explore who these guys are when they are on the job and when they're out of uniform. It's designed to be accessible for people who don't know the mythology, but hopefully really satisfying for people that know it backwards and forwards. So basically, they want to make it, they're saying, well, let me read between the lines here. This means we don't have a whole lot of money. And so what they're doing is they're saying they're going to make it more down to earth to reach the masses, the general audience, but they're still going to make it entertaining for people who understand who Lanterns are. This tells me we may never see them in their suits. Maybe Sinestro, but these guys are meant to be in their plain clothes. It leaves you scratching your head. This is the one series that should be taking place mostly in space, but yet we're getting just an earthly story, a grounded story. It's just weird. More from Chris Mundy. HBO Lantern, starring Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre, embraces the spirit of Green Lantern, but remains rooted as a prestige pulp detective show. Translation, it's not really Green Lantern. It's a couple of detectives who have some powers of Green Lanterns. It's not really a Green Lantern show. It's not really Green Lanterns. They're bastardizing everything that they're doing with DC. Now, this post by James Gunn created so many memes. There was one of somebody peeing on a copy of the Batman. There was one where people had put, dog footprints in the snow. It looks like James Gunn has a foot fetish. And he's supposed to, again, this goes along with the terrible marketing. How is this supposed to get people excited? He said, 1 year ago today, long year bien, Svalbard, faster than a speeding bullet towards July 11th, 2025, Superman. It was like one of their first days of filming, I believe. And he just posts this. Again, they refuse to show the whole suit in any type of their promotions. They're going to have to study this. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. They're going to have to study the promotion for this movie. It's got to be the most terrible thing I've ever seen when it should be a slam dunk. Shouldn't be hard to market Superman, but they're doing it in the most bland, uninteresting way possible. Now, this comes from James Gunn himself. Daniel Radcliffe as Clayface? We haven't talked or considered him, says James Gunn amid casting rumors. This one is 100% false. That's interesting. Lot of trades picked up on this. Okay, now this comes from Jeff Snyder. He said, ask Gunn. My DC sources just make stuff up. And the DCU News picked up James Gunn is currently writing a team-up film between Batman and Superman. And I do believe that this, they're going to do Clayface, obviously. It's a cheap budget, small budget. But I do believe this will be the next film after that in theaters. I told everybody in my last video, based on everything that we've seen and what James Gunn has said, I do believe he is writing a world's finest movie. And this is my worst nightmare come true, being run by James Gunn. Now, this is also read between the lines. It says, DC boss Peter Safran doesn't know if they will be making a second season of The Penguin. We don't know. There are a lot of moving pieces, probably most important Colin himself. Translation, we want to bury the Batman universe. We don't want a season 2. And there are quotes of him. I shared a quote of him saying he would come back. If the story's right, he would absolutely do it. But there are other quotes from him talking about how he didn't like being in the suit and he's not interested in coming back anytime soon, which is fine because the Batman 2 isn't even scheduled to come out until October of 2027, which is still almost 3 years away. By then, it will have been 7 years since the previous film. And we're going to talk more about that with another screen grab that I have here with all of this stuff here today. Now, this is what David Corenswet said about being in James Gunn's Superman. James Gunn has a tremendous imagination. I'm only here to deliver the lines he's written. It's a very particular vision. That's interesting. Spiced up with some wonderful elements and performances. I hope I measure up to it in the audience's eyes. I posted this on social media. I said, translation, if the movie sucks, don't blame me. I was just doing what James Gunn asked me to do. So I'm glad he's putting the blame where it belongs. Like I said, this is all on James Gunn. And if this movie does not resonate with audiences, and it's just a full-on comedy, it's not going to do well in theaters or with the audience. And I have a feeling I have a feeling it's just too silly. More from David Corenswet. This is on him being criticized for playing Superman. He said, I don't take it personally. I see it as something to learn from. And all actors have to accept that for what it is to grow professionally. That's a great way to look at it. And he shouldn't take this, personally. I don't blame him for the casting. I think it's sad that he's going to take the brunt of this and that it could ruin his career. But it's really on James Gunn's feet. I just feel bad for him. Coming up, I am going to have an unboxing. I don't know how many people saw my post, but I did a post about this. These have been sitting in my house for a while. That is a big desk, by the way. Very big desk. I think it's probably about 4 feet across. And I've got the Batman animated series, McFarlane Batmobile that came back in July right after my dog had her stroke. Actually showed up, I think, the day after she had her stroke. Something I had pre-ordered long before, and same with the Batwing. In fact, I forgot the Batwing was even coming until it got shipped to my house. But I've got to unbox both of these, and I am uber excited. You could see that if you've been on my channel, you know I'm a massive Batman fan, and you can see some other Batman stuff there in the background. But I will be doing an unboxing on both of those. Also, it was Zack Snyder's birthday the other day, and I did a post saying thank you for bringing the Trinity to the big screen, because I don't think we're going to ever see anything like this ever again, at least not in my lifetime. Now, My Time to Shine Hello says they know somebody who saw Superman, and this person gave their rating for everything that they're familiar with that Gunn has done, comic book-wise. He gave Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 1 a 9 out of 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 a 7 out of 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 7.5 out of 10. Peacemaker an 8 out of 10. I am sorry. Peacemaker should not be getting an 8 out of 10. It was a disgusting, vulgar, bastardized version of those characters, and it was just juvenile. The Suicide Squad, again, 9 out of 10. I'd give it a 2 out of 10, and I think that's being generous. Creature Commandos, a 7.5 out of 10. And that show, I still have to do my review on it, so I'm going to hold off on giving you my thoughts on that. And then they rated Superman a 7.5 out of 10. If Superman is going to be on the level of Creature Commandos, it is not going to do well at theaters at all. That's all I have to say. It's not going to grab the attention of the audience. It's not going to be a big hit. Nobody is going to care if it is at that level. Now, this just came out this morning from Robert Pattinson himself. Robert Pattinson, when asked if the Batman Part 2 starts filming soon, he said, "I effing hope so." And then he laughs. "I started out as young Batman, and I'm going to be effing old Batman by the sequel." And they have a picture of him as old Bruce Wayne there. Now, here's what I have to say about this. When this actually came out today, and they grabbed his quote, and it's being reported everywhere, I am fully confident now that James Gunn is the one who is holding up the production on Batman 2. I don't think it has anything to do with Matt Reeves. I really do think that the actors and everybody have been dicked around by Warner Brothers, and they don't want this movie to ever be made. I will not believe that this movie is coming out until it actually starts filming and it's in production, because this is getting ridiculous because everybody wants to do it, but it's not on the docket. And they're going to have to retool that entire script because 7 years will pass by the time it gets released. This can't be something that originally they were going to have it take place weeks after Penguin. They can't do that now. Too much time will have passed. There has to be a progression with the character. And if there's not, it's not going to do well. Here was some other big news that got revealed today. James Gunn confirmed Starfire will be an Elseworlds project. He goes on to say that Starfire is Elseworlds, as are most of our family animated shows. So not only is Starfire not part of the DCU, neither will My Adventures with Green Lantern and the Superpower show. And that is mostly what they announced with the updated slate. So as it stands right now, all we have is Superman, Supergirl, and you have Lanterns, which they're not really confirming whether or not it is part of the DCU. I think it is. But those are the only 3 DCU projects currently in development. Soon to be Clayface will be a part of that. But then all of this other stuff that they announced are Elseworlds projects. And they didn't make that real clear during the reveal. So really, there's nothing else. There's nothing new being produced for the DCU. I really do think that Warner Brothers is waiting and that Zaslav is pulling back until Superman gets released and has actually asked James Gunn to focus on the main characters. Now, this is the last screen grab that I have for you guys today, and this I posted on, and I want to talk about the ridiculous replies I got to this. So somebody posted this as Superman in the Snow from James Gunn's Superman. Now, first of all, you know this is fake because of the boots. The boots look nothing like that, okay? But the rest of the costume does. And I knew that this was not real, and I didn't claim it was real, but I said, "Oh, geez," shaking my head. And you should have seen the responses that I got from this. "Don't make fun of cosplay." Someone said, "It's not real. Don't be so effing stupid." Some people brought in Rebel Moon and Zack Snyder for absolutely no reason, and they got on me for sharing this because it isn't real. Other people were questioning whether it was real or not, and this is the sad part about all of this. Because of how bad the costume looks in real life, people did a double take on this. People actually did a double take on this. And it's pretty dang crazy. It just goes to show you how bad it actually is, and people have recreated the costume to make fun. It's pretty crazy. All right, so there you have it. All of the DC information since my last video. What do you guys think about all of these projects being, mainly Elseworlds projects? what do you think about the marketing for Superman? Now, here's a quick health update for the people who are wondering. I did have PT again today, and they really stretched me. I can't wait until I can talk about my experience. I actually watched a video on a surgery that was nowhere near as bad as mine the other day, but was pretty close. And I'm in the stage of healing. And I'll be honest with you guys, when I was having issues 3 weeks ago, I almost died. There are some complications that go along with having a surgery as serious as my surgery was. And yeah, almost killed me. And I'm lucky to be here today. So luckily, I am on the mend now. I am doing well. I'm feeling great. I am going through physical therapy. I have another visit with my surgeon coming up next week. And there's other stuff going on behind the scenes that I can't talk about. When I can finally talk about it, I will do a video of what happened with the accident and everything that happened thereafter with my aftercare. But I got to tell you guys, I have been in constant pain now for going on almost 3 months. It has aged me a lot, I will tell you that. My sleep is terrible, and there's nothing that can really be done about those things at this stage because of the pain. And it's necessary for me to get back to normal. It sucks, but it's a necessary evil. I just can't wait to get back to normal. But I got to be honest with you, trying to get into my studio today after having physical therapy this morning wasn't easy. The good news is I am now able to walk around the house without a cane. It's not pretty, but I can actually get around without a cane. But that's the only thing I can really talk about at this stage. I do appreciate all the support, and for the guys who want to complain about me giving health updates, nobody's forcing you to watch. There are people who are invested in my channel who do want to know what's going on, and I will talk about those things every once in a while. I do appreciate the support. If you guys did like the video, please hit the like button below, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up. We'll see you guys on the next video.